can do it. Hello, everyone. I don't know if anyone's there. Having real difficulty today. Hi, Citrullo. How are you? I'm having a real problem technology-wise today. All right, let me see what the heck is going on here. Hey, guys. Bear with me for a minute here. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Oh, this might be the problem. For some reason, I'm having a problem connecting. I'm having a problem connecting with my phone, but I can get on the laptop here, which is not good for me because I can't do this the right way without my phone. Not good. Not good, everyone. All right, wait a minute. All right, hold on. All right, wait a minute. All right, hold on. All right. I think it's working now. How's everyone doing this evening? Wait a minute. That's better. Hi, Citrullo. Hi, Michael Moremile. Gina, how are you? Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Man, it's hot. It is a hot one. So I'm not on top of the fire. It's a little too hot for that. But I know I had some difficulty with the stream, the scheduled stream. So I had to stop it and put up another one. So I think that might have thrown a few people off, which is not good. So I'm going to wait a little bit, see if anybody else joins. Who knows, or this might not be a successful broadcast today. Yeah, story time inside is not as fun as near the fire, Gina. Can't do an indoor fire, I'll die. But we'll muddle through. I mean, this weather's ridiculous. It's not even, what is it, June 2nd? It's crazy. 90-degree weather in June. Ridiculous, beginning of June. But we shall push forward. Hey, Arms, how are you? Thank you for joining. Yeah, I think I'm going to get eaten up by mosquitoes out here too. But then again, and it's been so dry and there's been no rain. I don't even know how there are any mosquitoes around. But there always are. Wow. Let me see here if I can. My tripod. I don't know. I like holding the. I guess I like holding the phone better. I don't know. The tripod on the phone for this phone, it's not optimal. I need to get an actual phone tripod. This is a tripod for my action camera that I use for sporting events. So it's kind of a makeshift thing here. But I'm ordering one, so I will get one. Make it a lot easier on me. If I can lower this a bit. But anyway, I know that there's some other shows going on this evening. I saw that Angel Gotti was on. I don't know why. I don't think she normally goes on a Friday night, but anyway, a lot of people that usually tune in here will be there, I would think. So that could be it too. I don't know why anybody else is not here, but who knows? We got 5 people. That's pretty cool. Evan, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for stopping by. I guess I could have brought my candle indoors and did the story by candlelight. I could have done that. I didn't think about that. But yeah, with this weather's got to break though. This can't be around much longer. This is July, like mid-July weather. Oh, but anyway, listen. You know what? I think I'm going to get started. Oh yeah, a lot of projects, Evan. Yeah, I know how it is. Real life takes up a lot of time, you know. So anyway, let's just start. I'm going to start my story anyway. And if people come in, they come in. If not, they can always watch it on replay if they're interested in it. But this story is quite a complex one, I guess, because there's a lot of different events to it. And it's based on a real story. It's based on an actual unsolved to this day case of a serial killer who killed people with an axe in New Orleans. And our story begins to take place in 1918. Now, think about it, 1918. The country is in World War I, so that's high on everyone's minds. There's a lot of immigrants, a lot of people fleeing war coming into the country as well. A lot of fear and anti-German, anti-Italian, anti-Austrian feelings, right? They are the Axis powers. People see them as the enemy. So there's a lot of that going on. And our story starts on May 23rd, 1918. And on that day, an Italian grocery couple by the name of Maggio go to sleep that night. Just a normal day. Locked up their shop, and their living space was in the back of their shop area. So the front was the grocery, and in the back were a couple of modest rooms where they'd live and run their business, and they'd live there. So this night they close up shop, they go to bed. Well, this was going to be the last night of their lives. because come about 5 a.m. in the morning, the Maggios had, as part of their family, two brothers. Joseph Maggio is the grocer, and then he has two brothers, Andrew, and I forgot the name of the other guy. But they live in the flat with them, but they live on another side. So they're those brothers are out all night. They come in early in the morning, and they find the most horrible scene. They find Mr. and Mrs. Maggio with axe wounds in their head, covered in blood, and their throats cut. In fact, Mrs. Maggio had her throat cut so much that her head was almost decapitated. And that, can you imagine such a gruesome scene? So they call the police, obviously, in a panic. The police get there. And what do they find? Well, they find that the room is in shambles, that there's an open safe there, that the drawers are open and there's clothes all over the place, and it looks like it's been ransacked. However, nothing is missing. All of Mrs. Maggio's jewelry is stacked on the dresser. The money that was in the safe is not stolen. The money in the safe is on the bed. So what was the motive for this murder? No one knows. And interestingly enough, there's an axe left there, as well as the blade that cut their throats. So the axe, as well as a knife that was used to cut the throats of these poor immigrant grocers, was just left there. Now, remember, 1918, there's no fingerprints technology yet. So you could leave a murder weapon somewhere without fear of the police getting it and getting the prints off of it and finding out who did this. Hi, Joe Della. Just saw you come in. Thanks for joining. So we know we have a maniac, basically, on our hands. A maniac that kills for a motive we don't have no idea what it is. So, I mean, this story is so complex. I had to take notes. Normally, I just know the story and tell the story, but this one has so many incidents in it. I had to take some notes on this one. All right, so then, now this is the creepy part. So, the Maggios are murdered. There's no one sees anything. No, in the neighborhood, no one sees anything. Now, this is a city. It's New Orleans. There's a lot of people around, a lot of people living in there, but no one sees anything. No one heard anything or saw anything. The only thing that's left is a block away on the sidewalk in chalk is written a message. And this message says, Mrs. Maggio is going to sit up tonight just like Mrs. Tony. What does that mean? Nobody knows, but it's creepy as can be. Hi, Mike F. How you doing? All right. So what do the police do in this? The police arrest the Maggio brothers. They don't know what to do. They found the bodies, so maybe they have something to do with this. Maybe they're the people. So they arrest the Maggio brothers and take them in for questioning. Now, they're eventually released because there's no proof of them doing anything, and no motive, no proof of them doing anything at all other than finding the bodies. They lived there and they found the bodies. So we have an axe murderer. Now, little did people know at the time is that similar murders had taken place in the year 1911 in New Orleans. 3 different murders in that year took place, and they each centered on Italian grocers. And what does that mean, though, right? 1911 to 1918, that is a large span with no activity. Are they linked? Could it be a copycat? What's going on here? No one really knows. So the police at the time say, now remember, New Orleans is not the most friendly area for Italians. In fact, it was in 1889, I believe, where there was a mass lynching of Italians in there. So, but anyway, the Italians persevered persevered and stayed on there and made a life there. And there's still a lot of Italians today that have a that New Orleans or Louisiana has an Italian population because of those immigrants that came there. So anyway, so we have 1911 and 1918, a span of 7 years there with no activity. Are they linked? Well, the police said we have to find out, and we have to put on this case a specific detective to focus on it to figure out what's going on. And the guy they choose is a guy by the name of Detective Theodore Orbitz. And he's one of the best detectives on the force. Now, Mr. Orbitz goes about his business planning out Detective Orbitz goes about his business of planning out how he's going to find out who did these heinous crimes. However, the night of the day he's assigned to the case, he is mysteriously murdered while he's trying to apprehend a burglar. He's shot directly through the heart and killed. So the best police detective is gone, of the force is gone, killed. And the creepy part about this too is, what about those? Remember those 3 murders in 1911? Why are they still unsolved? Well, the creepy part is that every policeman that was assigned to that specific case has either died or moved away. And that's why those cases are still open. No one ever figured them out. 7 years later, they're still open cases. So Detective Orbitz dies, and the case just kind of lingers. That's around May 20th. May 26th. May 26th. So nothing happens until June 28th. Now, June 28th, it's a hot night in New Orleans. A lot of nights are hot in New Orleans, right? But anyway, that evening, in the middle of the night, something occurs in the same neighborhood as the Maggios. And what happens is, in the morning, the bread delivery boy, or the bread delivery man, goes to to deliver bakery at every grocery. And he goes to, this one was owned by a man by the name of Louis B. Summer. And he rings the doorbell, no one answers. Now, normally, Mr. B. Summer is there to meet him in the early morning and take the bread in and prepare for the day. So he goes around back. He doesn't want to leave the bread delivery in the front because someone could come and steal it. He goes around to the back to leave it on the back edge. And what does he see on the back? He sees that there is that part of the door, and the back door was chiseled out. The panel of the door was chiseled out. So he, out of curiosity, he opens the door to see what has happened here, and he goes into the back door of the grocery, and just that he's met by Mr. B. Summer with a gash in his head, blood pouring down his face, saying, "Oh my God, oh my God," and he collapses onto the bread delivery guy. So the bread delivery guy takes him, puts him down, goes inside to see what's going on. Mr. B. Summer's wife has been attacked as well. And there's blood all over her place. She's unconscious. So he runs out, gets the police. The police come. They take them to the hospital. Now, the MO here is the same. The door is chiseled out. That was the thing that the Maggio murders, the back, how the Axeman gets into the house is he takes a chisel and he chisels out one of the door panels in the back and goes through the door panels. So now these panels aren't that big, right? So is this a small guy? Is this, how does he get in through this? No one can figure that part out. But it's the same MO. And in the backyard, they find the axe with the blood on it. So the axe is left again. Now, in this case, he wasn't successful in killing either one of them because both were taken to the hospital. Mr. B. Summer is okay. I mean, he has the gash in his head, but he doesn't have a life-threatening wound. Mrs. B. Summer, who they later find out was not really his wife, but actually just someone that lived there. I mean, they were in a relationship, but they just were as common law, man and wife, I guess. And they find out, well, she was pretty bad. So she goes into the hospital. Now, she's unconscious. She wakes up later on and says some really crazy things about what went on. So she's really incoherent as to what's going on. Now, meanwhile, word gets out of what happened. Now, the news media is there, and the newspaper finds out that when the police went in to search, at the scene and gather evidence, they found a trunk in the room, and in the trunk were letters written to Mr. B. Summer in German and Russian and Yiddish. So what does the paper do? The paper has a giant headline the next day that says, possible German spy ring uncovered in New Orleans. Sensationalism. We see sensationalism today. There was sensationalism back there, back then. So so is B. Summer a German spy? Is this all part of, some type of German plot? The Germans are our enemies. We're fighting the Germans. But it turns out that Mr. B. Summer is not German at all. He's actually Polish. And he's no friend to the German. In fact, the Germans, and in fact, he had fled there because of German aggression against Poland. And he just spoke a lot of languages and had friends in different countries where he would converse, and they would send letters back and forth. So that's why there was no spy ring whatsoever there. So it just made things a little bit more comfortable, and it kind of lends to the hysteria that starts building. Right? You have the war hysteria. Now you have a maniac running around killing people. What is going to happen? Nobody knows. So that's July 29th. The paper publishes that silly story. Now, on July 5th, now Mrs. Lowe has been out and unconscious. She regains consciousness on July 5th. And what she says is she describes the Axeman. Now, this is the first person that has ever seen the Axeman and can describe him. And what she describes him as is a tall, heavy-set, dark man who wear a coat and a hat. Not much, but at least it's a subscription, right? I'm sorry, a description. At least it's something to go on. So now this gets even creepier, because what happens is, she is recovering, but it turns out she needs surgery. And back then the surgery wasn't the best, right? So they bring her in for surgery. And on August 7th, the surgery is conducted. And it was not successful. And she ends up coming out of the anesthesia in pretty bad shape. And as she comes out of that anesthesia, she says that it was actually Mr. B. Summer who hit her with the axe. So this is, whoa, what is going on? B. Summer is immediately arrested. She ends up dying from the surgery. And this opens up a whole new front on this. Is B. Summer the murderer? Is he the Axeman? If not, is this particular incident not linked? And maybe this incident is just made to look like that. And there was a lot of history from the neighbors about how the B. Summers would be fighting all the time, and there would be a lot of violence between them. So it made it seem like this could maybe not have nothing to do with the Maggio murders. So B. Summers arrested, right? Now, maybe they have their man, maybe they don't. Well, on August 5th, we find out that they do not have the Axeman, because another attack occurs. Now, B. Summer's in jail. Can't be B. Summer. August 5th, an attack happens on a grocer by the name of Schneider. And Schneider is not home at the time. He is out for the night. He comes home and he finds his pregnant wife, bloodied, just being attacked. Same MO, chiseled out door, axe left there. Now, again, the Axeman fails to kill her. He's losing his touch a bit here because she survives. And the baby survives, which is, a great story for everyone at the time. The baby at least survives. She delivers a healthy baby. But what can Schneider tell us? What can Mrs. Schneider tell us about the Axeman? Not much. Similar description: tall, dark man wearing a coat and a hat. Now, the only thing different here, I'm sorry, this one was different in the sense that he didn't chisel out the door. He came through an open window. So the MO is a little bit different. Uses an axe, but doesn't steal anything, but didn't chisel out the back door. So, I mean, this raises the question of what's going on here. Are there multiple people? Are there copycats? What's going on here? You think a serial killer is going to file the same thing every time? Not so in this case. All right, so a few days go by, and August 10th comes along, and the Axeman attacks again. Hello, Roadhog. Thank you for joining. Michael Mormile. I don't know if I said hello to you. Just wanted to say hi. So August 10th, the night of August 10th, the Axeman strikes again. This time, he's back to the Italian grocers. Now, the last two were not Italian, but they were grocers. Now he's back to the Italian grocers. This one is the Romano grocers, and Joseph Romano lives in the same kind of setup, different rooms in the back of a grocery, but he lives with his nieces. So you got Joseph Grocer, the grocer himself, Joseph Romano, his nieces. His nieces hear a commotion. They live on the other side. There are two sides of the building. They hear a commotion and they go running in there. And what do they see? They see the Axeman struggling. They actually see the Axeman fighting with Romano. Romano has already been hit with the axe. Blood is gushing out everywhere. And they see this struggle going on. They scream. And as they scream, they see the Axeman. They scream the top of their lungs. According to them, the Axeman turns and disappears before their very eyes. Now, this really gets creepy. Now, what is going on here? How can he disappear into space? In fact, they were described it was as if he had wings and flew out of the window. Now, the nieces are not adults. They are 17, 13, and 10. But they're able to see things, right? They're not nothing wrong with them. They're not little tiny kids that would make up stuff, right? But anyway, that's the description. Now, Romano ends up dying. So the Axeman gets his third victim, his third, actual death, actual killing. Now, this sets Orleans into hysteria. Word gets out that this has happened again. The Italian American community is incensed about this. They're demanding police protection. They're starting to establish their own vigilante squads that'll patrol the neighborhood to protect them because they feel the police are not doing their job. The police start to get reports of the Axeman. Now, are these reports real or not? Nobody knows. A person by the name of Al Duran reports finding an axe and a chisel at his back door on August 11th. Now, that's the day after the Romano attack. A person by the name of Joseph LaBouffe finds a chisel near his back door, same day. On August 15th, several people call the police and report that they see the Axeman in a certain part of town, but he's dressed like a woman. I don't know where that part comes from, but he was dressed like a woman. The police go there, they find nothing. Also on August 21st, a report comes in that a man is seen leaping over the fences in the backyards of that neighborhood, carrying an axe. And in fact, one person by the name of Joseph Gary claims to have taken out his shotgun and shot at him and missed. So obviously the place is in hysteria. People are seeing ghosts, so to speak. They're seeing things where they just aren't there because it's just the fear and the excitement of what's going on. So August 30th comes along, and we have another sighting of the Axeman, and this one is definitely legitimate because it comes from a man by the name of Nick Asanto, and he lives upstairs to a grocery, and he hears a weird noise in the night. So he comes down, he goes to the head of the stairs to look down, and he sees standing at the foot of the stairs a tall man with an axe in his hand, had just come through the door, total black, total dark, a tall, dark guy wearing a black coat and a hat with the axe. He screams at him. The Axeman turns, drops the axe, and runs out the front door. Now, this was about 2:00 in the morning. No one sees him. No one knows where he goes or what happens. So that's August 30th. And in fact, during that time period, there was like at least another dozen reports of sightings of the Axeman that couldn't be confirmed or even denied. Hi, Yankees. Thanks for joining. So months pass, right? That was August, the summer passed. And it seems as if the Axeman has vanished, right? It seems that maybe this spirit, if he was a spirit, has gone away. Is he a demon? What is he? Who the heck knows, right? So, August 10th, that was August 30th, right? March 10th, 1919. Hell comes back. But this time it's across the river from New Orleans, and it's in a place called Gretna. And what happens in that case is a family by the name of Portamaglia, Italian grocers again, are attacked in the night by the Axeman. Now, again, there's a struggle. The Axeman is fighting with the Mister, and now this is a family of a husband, a wife, and a 2-year-old girl. Mr. Cordemelia is fighting with the Axeman. The woman has already been hit with the axe. She runs to get her child while he's fighting with the Axeman. The Axeman overpowers him. He goes down. The Axeman turns to go after her and finish her off and hits the child. So now this is a 2-year-old child that's been hit by a blunt axe. Can you imagine the horror and the blood and this? Oh my God, terrible. So all this commotion's going on. As this is happening, it was so much commotion that two neighbors, a father and a son by the name of Giordano, come running in to see what's happening. And as they're running in, they see the Axeman escaping, running away. They don't chase after him. They go to help the neighbors as best they could. Blood everywhere, what have you. They try to pry the baby out of the wife's hand, but the wife won't let her go. They end up getting the ambulance and the police there and everything. So this happens. That was March 10th. The bloody axe is found. The panel chiseled out just like in New Orleans, the same pattern. So what is going on here? What happens next? Well, the police decide, on the word of Mrs. Cordemelia, to arrest the Giordanos, the father and son, because she decided to say, when she wakes up from her coma in the hospital, that it was the Giordanos, that they hated us. It was them that did this. They hated us. It's their they're responsible for this. Now, the interesting part about this is that Mr. Cordemelia says, absolutely not the Giordanos. I saw the Axeman. I was fighting with him. It's not him. It's not them. They did not do this. They did not do this. The police don't listen. The police arrest the Giordanos and put them in jail. Now, that's March 10th. March 13th, this is where it really gets creepy. March 13th, a letter is sent to the paper that claims to be from the Axeman. Now, the letter, I want to read you the letter. I can't, it's a bit creepy, and I think it's worth reading, but it's long. So maybe I'll Maybe I'll cut through this a little bit. All right, so here it is. It's March 13th. It's sent to the editor of the paper, and it's addressed to esteemed mortal. They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I'm invisible. Even as the even as the ether that surrounds your earth, I am not a human being, but a spirit and a fellow demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come again and claim more victims. I alone know who they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with the blood and brains of him who I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police not to rile me, of course. I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to amuse not only me, but his satanic majesty, Francis Joseph. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am. For it would be better that never they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need for such a warning, but I feel sure the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as the most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I would slay thousands of your best citizens, for I am in close relationships to the angel of death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 Earth time on the next Tuesday night, I'm going to visit New Orleans again. In my infinite mercy, I'm going to make a proposition to you people. Here it is. I'm very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time. If everyone has a jazz band going well, then so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of those people who do not have jazz on Tuesday night, if there be any, will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, and it is about time that I leave your earth, I will cease my discourse, hoping thou wilt publish this, that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy. Signed, the Axeman. So the paper prints this creepy, creepy letter, and as a result, the 19th of March, which is St. Joseph's Day, turns into a massive jazz festival where people are holding jazz parties all over the city in hopes of keeping away the Axeman. But the Axeman disappoints and does not show up on the 19th. So in the meantime, on May 21st comes, and the trial of B Summer comes up. Remember him? He was the guy whose wife said he killed. He was the one that tried him. Well, he's tried and found innocent. There's no evidence whatsoever. It's just her doing that. So nothing happens for a while. Then August 10th rolls along. August 10th comes, and once again, an Italian grocer is attacked in the wee hours of the night. Same MO. The doors chiseled out. The axe is found, and it's a man by the name of Steve Boca. Now he's attacked again, but doesn't die. He recovers. Excuse me. Let me put the fire on. Yeah, so he survived. So another failure on the Axeman's part, but he was so beaten up by the whole encounter he can't remember anything. All he knows is that he was attacked in the night. All right, August 10th. So September 2nd comes along, and this time a druggist by the name of William Carlson is up at night doing paperwork in his back room, and he hears noises at the door, the back door. So, being still hyped up about the Axeman, he takes out his pistol and shoots several rounds through the door. After he does that, he hears running away. He goes to the back of the door. No blood, so obviously he didn't hit the guy, but he does find a chisel and an axe there. So the Axeman was trying to get into his back door, and he was smart enough, or lucky enough, I guess, to deter him by shooting at him. And then brings us, and then in September 3rd, the very next day, a woman by the name of Sarah Lawman is attacked in her home. And this one's a little different too. There's no breaking. This one, no one breaks in through anything. The Axeman gets in through an open window and attacks her, doesn't kill her, bangs her up pretty bad. And again, another victim that can't identify anything because she can't remember from the concussion of the axe hitting her. She survives, but can't help with the identification of who this guy might be. So that brings us to August 27th. Now, August 27th, the Axeman will strike for the final time. Now, they didn't know that, obviously, but he attacks once again an Italian grocer by the name of Pepitone with an axe. The wife is injured and survives, but Mr. Pepitone dies. And the wife gives that same description: tall, dark man, wearing a coat and a hat, but escaped. Couldn't do more than that. Couldn't provide more than that. So what do we have? We have another murder, but then it suddenly stops. Everything just stops. The police are baffled. The city is baffled. Nothing has occurred. Nothing. It just goes away. There's no communication from any of, no letters to the editor, no letters to the police, no anything. It's as if he just vanished into thin air, like he did in 1911. So it's 1919 now. Now, what are the police to do? The case is open. The case is closed. I mean, the case is still open, but nothing's happening, right? So who was the Axeman? Who was he? Was he a spirit? Was he multiple people? There was a theory that it was the mafia. That was one of the theories. Shaking down Italian grocers, and if they didn't pay up, then they would be attacked. But there was a famous Italian detective there who put that theory to shame for several reasons. Number one, it wasn't always Italians. The majority of them were Italians, but it wasn't all exclusively Italians. And he made it very clear at the time that the mafia doesn't attack women and children. They would never do that. And this guy actually, killed a child and killed women. So it did not fit the MO. So, time goes by, and this was 1919. 1920 comes, and something happens in Los Angeles, which may be linked to this. There's suddenly a murder that takes place in the middle of the street, and the person that's murdered is a man by the name of Mumphrey. And Mr. Mumphrey was just walking down the streets when suddenly, out of the shadows, comes a woman shrouded in black with a handgun, pumps him full of lead, and kills him right there on the street. So this woman is arrested, taken away. Mr. Mumphrey is obviously dead from getting shot to death. And the woman says to police, "Yeah, I killed him. There's no doubt about it. But the reason I killed him is because he's the Axeman of New Orleans. And I know that because I saw him kill my husband. And my name is Mrs. Pepitone. And it turns out that she actually is the woman, Mrs. Pepitone, the woman that survived that last attack. And she tells police, I saw him that night. I didn't tell anyone because I knew who he was. And I didn't know where to find him. I knew who he was. But I was not confident that the police would do anything to help an Italian family. So I knew that I had to get him myself, and I tracked him to Los Angeles and killed him. Now, is this true? Is this woman crazy? Did she find an innocent person and kill him? Well, I don't think so. Now, like I said, this case is still unsolved, so it's all theories, but I believe that actually was the Axeman. And the reason is because this Mr. Mumphrey was a career criminal, a career burglar, actually. And when you go back and look at his criminal history, the times when the Axeman attacks occurred, he was free. And the times, those large periods of times where nothing occurred, he was incarcerated. He was in jail for burglary. And they match up exactly. Whenever the Axeman hits, he's out of jail. Whenever those long periods of time come, he's in jail. So he can't possibly do the axe murderers, right? So to me, that tells me that this guy was the axe murderer of New Orleans. But there was no real evidence other than this one woman saying that she saw him do it, kill her husband. And it turns out also, it's later found out that part of that was because later on, what she admits to police is that she didn't see him that night, and she didn't track him like she said. What happened was Mumphrey found her and said to her and was trying to blackmail her and try to get money out of her and extort money from her, and said, if you do not pay me the money that I want, I'm going to kill you like I killed your husband in New Orleans. And that's how she knew he was the Axeman. And she did this, and that was her defense when she went to trial, and she got off. The jury found her not guilty on the basis of self-defense, that she feared for her life, and she had to do this to protect herself from Mumphrey. Hey, hi, Big Bones. So basically, that's the story. That's a story which I find to be very creepy. The fact that any murder that's this old, it's more than 100 years old, that it's just remained unsolved officially. It's remained unsolved. No one has ever taken it off of the records as being, that Mumphrey was definitely the killer. It's always creepy to me. And the very fact of people coming into the night with an axe has got to be one of the deepest, darkest fears of people. You're in your sleep and some fiend comes in with an axe, which with the only purpose is to kill you. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always, this was a real, like I said, this was a real story, but there's always an element to it. Like, his ability to just vanish in a city as dense as New Orleans without anyone ever finding him or catching him is just amazing to me, and lends to the supernatural. And those girls that said they saw him vanish, they saw him, basically fly out of a window. It's just creeps you out a bit when you think about it. But let me just check and see if anyone came in that I missed. And I just want to make sure I say hello to them and thank you guys all. Christopher Toro, thank you for being here, buddy. Mike F, I don't know if I said hi to you. I said hi to Roadhog before. But yeah, so that's my story, guys. I hope you liked it. And thank you for spending some time with me. I think I'm going to wrap it up and actually go inside where it's a little bit cooler. and less bugs. But I thank you for lending me your ear, and until next time, I say thank you for watching, and back to hopefully a tasting this week. We'll see. I don't. Wait a minute. I don't know. I got to check. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do one this Thursday, but we'll get there eventually. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Have a good one. Signing out.